Welcome back to the Boxing Bookie. We are back. It's good to be back. I got my boy Chilltown here. It's big fight weekend. Chilltown, introduce yourself. How have you been?
Gary, thanks for having me. Love talking boxing with you. And great fight week. Really great fight week. Great matchups. One of the most anticipated cards, I would say, in the last few months. Been really looking forward to this.
And of course, you're talking about the John Fernandez and Armando Santa Monica fight, right? That's the fight you're talking about. That's the fight that everyone.
I was referring to the Pro Box card.
Oh, okay.
I get yeah.
Yeah,
Romain V
Yeah.
is making his return, and the Mongolian Mole. So
It's actually a good fight. Yeah, it's
Oh
a
yeah,
good.
Pro Box always delivers, man. Pro Box always has
Pro
They
Box.
might not have the biggest names, but they got the best matches, the best fights.
Pro Box blows Showbox out of the water. Real talk.
Oh,
Showbox was great, but Pro Box makes these fights, man. Gary Jonas makes all those fights. Who makes those fights for Pro Box?
It's mixed. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, Gary runs everything.
All right, let's get into it. I want to get right to the 50-50 fight, which is everyone's. Yeah, I've done two polls and both of them ended about 50-50.
Okay.
Haney and Brian Norman Jr. How do you see it going down? What would you bet on this fight?
Man. Full disclosure, I'm probably not betting on this fight until
neither am I
until it starts. Yeah, so it's like that tells you, that I don't think anyone has. I'm sure some people have very strong leans in it, but my lean right off rip would be Brian Norman Jr. I mean, I can make cases for both. I'm not high on Devin Haney, and I'm not high on Brian Norman Jr. So, Devin Haney, obviously he had his hiccup with Ryan Garcia, but in hindsight, it's kind of telling because that was the first time Devin Haney ever fought somebody that was at least his size, if not bigger. Devin Haney has had very, very intelligent matchmaking, right? Whether it was Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz, George Kambosos, he's always been much bigger. Obviously Lomachenko, but he's always been much bigger. Always had the height, the size, the weight, the reach. Everything had always gone towards, and they thought Ryan Garcia was the first fighter that he fought that was his size. And people have said, well, Ryan Garcia came in overweight. Well, you know what? You're lucky he came in overweight, because if he actually trained, he could have been 137. He could have been 3 pounds underweight, and he probably would have stopped. If he came in better shape, he probably would have stopped Devin Haney. And obviously then we saw how Ryan Garcia looked at 147. So the weight had nothing to do with it, because he looked like ass against Rolly Romero. But you do have to acknowledge that there was a PED test there. So
I don't really put too much stock into that. Like, you don't turn into Superman because you took PEDs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helps, and there's a reason why you do.
Say that.
I don't put a whole lot of stock in that.
Let's go off facts. Factual here.
Yeah.
Did he look better or worse against Rolly Romero when there was no PED test, or Devin Haney? He looked
much,
right? He looked horrible.
Much better on PEDs.
So
granted,
I have to go off a little common sense, saying, so he looked very lackluster there. And it didn't have to do with the weight, because he was now 147. And Rolly Romero is smaller than Devin Haney. So, you got to use a little bit of common sense thinking here. But anyways, I think that fight could have took a toll. And, there's just a little more red flags for me with Devin Haney. Antonio Moran.
That's big. I mean, Moran's not a world class. Moran's decent. Moran's not a world class fighter, but Jeb is right. Moran is 140, 147 when Devin was a 135 guy.
Antonio Moran. Okay. Fair. Antonio Moran.
At world class level. He hasn't fought.
Also, it's very one dimensional, comes straight at you. I mean, that was a stylistic, very stylistic in Devin Haney's favor. Like, he's not going to show you any looks, right? Just like that, why Andy Cruz looks so good against Antonio Moran. If you stand in front of him, you're in trouble. But, you got a little movement, a little boxing IQ, and all of a sudden he looks like a journeyman. Now, Devin Haney, my issue was how he looked in his last fight. So he could have stepped on the gas. He could have pushed Ramirez back. And this was at 143. No, Jose Ramirez looked like he was semi in retirement there, and Devin Haney looked like he was not the same. It looked like he was a little frightful, fearful of engaging with somebody that he was levels above. Now, is that the fight you want to go into as your first fight against Brian Norman Jr.? Probably not. Like looking at that fight, I can't confidently say I would want to back someone like Devin Haney, because then Devin Haney's previous fight, he was almost stopped. He was dropped. And I mean, I give the kid balls and props for surviving, and he obviously has a lot of heart. He's got a decent chin. But and then Brian Norman Jr., the problem is I'm not sold on him. Never was. And I've said this before with Johnny. I brought up the Quentin Randall fight. I was like, I understand he's looking better and better, but these are all guys. And the same thing I said for Devin Haney, I'll say for Brian Norman Jr. Matchmaking has been quintessential for him, because he's had guys that will come forward and make him look good. Whether you want to call them skilled brawlers, right? Jinsaki, David Cuevas, like he's gonna have the athletic edge over these fighters. He's gonna have the power and strength over these fighters. He doesn't have to chase them. Like this is the first time he's ever actually fought a pure boxer. I don't know how Norman's gonna look fighting a pure boxer. I really don't. Yeah, Quentin Randall wasn't really a pure boxer. He's kind of a boxer puncher, but he still struggled.
Yeah.
There. He smothered a lot of his work. So in that sense, like while I'm telling you, I'm not sold on Brian Norman Jr. because I don't know how he's gonna react with the movement, the jab, the straight punching of Devin Haney. It's just this is Brian Norman's weight class. He is a natural welterweight. And there's a lot more question marks I have for Devin Haney than I do for Brian Norman Jr.
Let me push back a little bit on the Devin Haney thing. And I talked to Johnny about this yesterday, and everyone kills him for the performance with JC Ramirez, which me and the real GK, if he's in the chat, thought the performance was fine. I mean, look, I it's not sexy. It didn't get your panties wet, but he won every round against a former unified world champion.
Yeah,
what did you want from him?
That's good. A better performance. See, you can win, but not look great doing it.
He barely got hit in the fight. I don't think he looked great either, but if he fights that way, he wins.
Yeah, but he's not. He's going to have somebody that's going to sell out, somebody that's going to close distance faster, someone that's an actual welterweight, someone that's not going to let you, when you do, like Devin Haney spent so much time on the ropes in the corner sometimes, and you could see where Ramirez had him, but he just don't want to let his hands go. And in those instances where I was like, I'll put it, that absolutely could have had Ramirez on the back foot. There was times where Haney goes, you know what? I'm just better than him. Like that to me was a mental block. So yes, he did win every single round. And I guess in some ways you can appreciate the game plan in Devin Haney, that he was very consistent with it, where, hey, I'm winning this. Why take a chance? Like if that's what he was really thinking, or his corner. But I don't know where his head is at. And if he fights like that against Norman, I think Norman's going to have a lot more chances.
I agree. He can't fight exactly that way against Norman because, like I said to Johnny, you can't run for 12 rounds against Norman. Eventually, he will catch you and he will break you, right? So he's going to have to pick in spots. He's going to have to stand in. Devin's not a guy that will clinch and hold on the inside, so that's not really his game. But he's going to have to stand.
Devin clinches a lot. He does not fight on the inside, but he will clinch you.
He gets hit on the inside. He can't be on the inside. He gets hit way too much.
He's not an inside fighter
at all.
No, his game is distance control.
Yeah, he's going to have to control it. But Norman's an athlete. It ain't Ramirez. So Norman's going to be able to close distance better than Ramirez could. He's going to have to stand in spots that you can't run for 12 rounds. Because what you do, what happens when you run for 12 rounds, you do what Caleb Plant did with Canelo and Benavidez. Eventually, you slow down and they don't, right? Because it's much harder to go backwards than it is to come forward. So you slow down and they get stronger. And you can't do that for 12 rounds. You kind of have to implement what Laura did with Jarrett Hurd, which is box him in spots, box him mostly, but fight him in spots. And Devin's going to have to do that. And I think Devin's got to win the fight with the jab. And we really watch the tape on him. Devin doesn't really use his jab enough at all, which is problematic. I am leaning towards Devin in this fight ever so slightly, but I'm with you. The only bet I actually like in this is the over, and I'm not even sold on that because I don't love the price on it.
Yeah, I mean, I like Haney's jab. I think Haney's jab sets up that right hand. He's got that beautiful one, too.
He doesn't throw it enough, though. You think he's a guy that, like Shakur, he will rely on it and rely on it and rely on it. He really doesn't. He uses more feints. He throws a lot of lead left hooks. Like, he doesn't rely on the jab enough.
Well, he's gonna need everything to get past Brian Norman Jr.
Agrees.
Right, yeah, Norman's on some momentum, and like I said, there's question marks for both. But I was never my problem. Yeah, I've always had question marks about Haney. Haney's good with a certain style in front of him. I thought, if Haney Teofimo fought, Haney Shakur fought, I thought if Haney Tank fought, there would be issues. And I picked Haney to beat Lomachenko, but I thought it was going to be a very close fight. I thought it was going to be back and forth. Yeah, I mean, other than Lomachenko, I mean, what Regis? Like, who's his next best? Has he ever fought a true pressure fighter? Someone that's going to have
How would you classify and like I picked Regis,
no
so I'm not
Regis footwork is. I mean, look, Regis,
yeah.
Danielito Zorrilla. You obviously they picked Regis once again. You're brilliant at with Haney's team. If you watch the Zorrilla fight, you could see like Regis couldn't cut it. Regis walked into everything. Regis can't cut the ring off. Regis was somewhat shot there. Like he lost that fight to Zorrilla. And
I mean, it's hard to say he lost, but I mean, he didn't.
no,
Yeah,
definitely not. I mean, that
he
was
got away
that
with
was
the knock.
tough.
He
Got
got
away
knocked
with that was a
down,
close
and they
one.
didn't
Let's say
rule
it's
it
a
a
close one.
knockdown. That changed. Yeah,
It was
because
close,
instead of
but
yeah,
there was a blueprint, a game plan for Haney to look great in that fight, and he did. Haney looked fantastic in that fight. But once again, like these are all at 140. This is his first fight at 147. You're like this is a huge step up. Huge step up. 147 is a big deal. Like it's
yeah.
a big deal, especially when your last two fights were, Regis doesn't get you ready for that. Ryan Garcia is not getting you ready, and Jose Ramirez isn't getting you ready for that.
But
So,
I said this about Devin Haney. He looked amazing in the Sasaki fight. Looked incredible. A plus
what do you mean,
performance.
Norman? Yeah, Norman. You said, yeah,
Norman looks
yeah,
sensational against Sasaki. A plus performance.
yeah.
What you do against Jin Sasaki, who's in front of you, looking to fight,
Completely different fight. Yeah, you can't compare.
tells me
Yeah,
nothing
I'm
about
not.
what you're gonna do with Devin
Yeah,
Haney.
it's
Nothing at
not even
all.
worth taping it for me. Yeah,
Right.
even though I taped those fights. We all did. We watched. We probably bet those
Yeah.
fights. But yeah, no, these are two different styles. That's why it's such. Yeah, there's going to be so much back and forth on it, and I think it's going to be very close. I really want to see who's going to take center ring, who's going to implement the game plan in the first couple rounds before I make a decision.
Who do you think has to make more adjustments from their last fight? The way that Haney fought with JC Ramirez, or the way that Sasaki fought with? I mean, the way that Norman
Mm,
fought with Sasaki.
mm, that's That's tough. That's tough. I mean, there's so many variables for me in this. I really want to see the size. I want to see the size in the ring, how they're both going to look. Randall is the best. Yeah, for Haney. Yeah. And even Randall, I mean, yeah, that's the only one. And that was my critique on Norman for that fight. So,
My
anyways,
problem is everyone is picking Norman Jr. Everyone who's picking Norman Jr. is picking him what he did off of Sasaki. And that doesn't add up to me, right?
you
It's
know what
like
I know
saying,
something? You know what I think's a sneaky bet? What I would lean is Norman on points. I think somewhere if Haney does get clipped and he does get hurt, I think he's going to fight negative. I think maybe he could fight negative from rounds 9 to 12, and the first one's being close. I think Norman then could edge a close decision. I don't think Haney's going to get a lot of love in swing rounds. I think the fighter on the front foot's going to nick him, and that's Norman. I mean, Turkey's memo already with this.
if you like Norman by decision, you're right about that. That's a good point, TJ. Norman by decision is plus
Look, I said the
280.
same thing with Beterbiev Bivol. Bivol was the better boxer. You got the guy in the front foot, maybe closing distance, maybe landing the harder shots, and dictating somewhat of the ring generalship. Right, he's the general of the ring
Yeah.
here. Maybe that could be Norman back half of the fight. Some of the first rounds are close, and all of a sudden, you see Norman's winning a 7-5, 8-4 decision. Because
Guys,
everyone's
please.
saying Haney points or Norman knockout. I was like,
Well, that's that's what
I don't
Ryan Garcia
always,
beat him by decision. Yeah, I mean that's
I mean,
fair.
yeah. What?
Yeah.
How crazy is that? But
Guys,
anyway,
please like, share,
so
and subscribe. Smash the like button. Join the Patreon. Also, we have memberships available. I'll talk more about that later today. But guys, like, share, and subscribe. Smash the like button. Join the Patreon. Become a member if y'all have not already. We got Chilltown here. I want to, we're on a timer here, so I want to move on to the other big fights. Bam Rodriguez and Puma. Bam and Puma. I don't see how Puma survives all 12 rounds let alone win the fight. Any discrepancies there? What are your thoughts on Bam and Puma?
If I was gonna make a fighter for Bam to look good against, it would be similar to Puma style, right? High volume, limited head movement. He's coming at you. Bam's not gonna have to find him. Bam's a phenomenal counterpuncher, pinpoint accuracy, heavy hands. You know, he's got angles like Loma. Difference. Loma didn't have that one punch power, put you on your
Yeah,
ass.
I always said that Bam is the love child of Lomachenko and Pacquiao.
There you go. Yeah, Bam has the one punch power to put you on
Yeah.
your ass. He catches you. I mean, it's tough for me to see and on top of that, Puma didn't look good in his last fight. I thought he probably maybe got lucky. I still had him edging it, but regardless, like Aoka dropped him, hurt him. If Bam hurts you and drops you, he's not letting you. He's going to kill you. He's going to step on your neck.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah, he's not letting you survive 2 more rounds. It's not happening. So no, I like Bam. I like Bam in this. Stylistically, I think it's very favorable for him, and that's what this is about, right? Styles make fights. We say this all the time. I don't care about the resume. You know, I don't care about your amateur accolades. Like this is the Styles game. So Bam has a style that's going to be very hard to beat, and if you have an aggressive come forward fighter, Bam's gonna chew you alive.
I agree with this, DJ. Puma's Argentinian blood might get him to round 7. That's it. So what I would say, and minus 220, Bam by stoppage. What are your thoughts on that?
I like it. You know, I also like the under. I like the under 9.5. You're giving me 9-10 rounds.
Yeah, I like the under too.
Especially the body work. I feel like if Ioko was hurting Puma in the first 2 fights, Bam has some great body work. He's gonna slow you down, and once Puma slows down, like forget about it, bro. You're just a heavy bag now.
He's moved all the way from minus 800 to minus 1100 now. Is it worth throwing Bam in your parlay, or is that ship sailed at minus 1100?
Is he minus 11?
On DK.
Still...
I got him at minus 800 earlier in the week. He's minus 1100 now.
Well, I know we're going to talk about this fight next, but I think Bam and Benavidez price are similar. I personally like, if I had to pick one, I like Bam over the Benavidez, and they're about the same price.
That's actually Benavidez is a little, and I'm with you.
Because I've seen Benavidez all the way up to minus 13, minus 1400, minus 2000 on
I had him at
Caesars or Hard Rock.
Yeah, I had Benavidez at minus 800. Let's see what he is now. Minus 900. So it's not terrible. Again, this is a fight that I think is largely a mismatch. I'm not really a believer in yard. Benavidez, I've bet against Benavidez, like I said, going back in all of his big fights, going all the way back to Gravel back in 2018. I picked against him in every fight, right? I'm going to stop doing that.
Oh.
I picked Morrell. I picked Andrade. I picked Gravel. I picked Caleb Plant. Any other? Yeah. I'm done with that now. Any other big fights where I betting? I know I picked against him on those fights for sure. And so I'm over whatever in betting on Benavidez. I'm gonna stop that trend. I'm definitely betting on Benavidez. The only question is Benavidez by stoppage, or does Yard get through? If Yard makes it through, which is possible, Benavidez by decision is paying quite nicely.
It's possible on the fact that Benavidez hasn't had a stoppage at 175. Is his power not carried up? It probably has carried up. I just think he's fighting much bigger, much more durable fighters. Yeah, obviously he's got power, but if his power was that type of power, I mean, you're stopping Caleb Plant in those last 4 or 5 rounds. I thought he was there to be taken out. Yard just has this horrible gas tank. That's my issue with him surviving or not. Yeah, but Yard is going to be dangerous early. He's explosive early, and he's got heavy hands. Like he looks like a cruiserweight. I've always said this. He looks like a
big,
cruiserweight.
And he's strong. I don't know. He
almost stopped Beterbiev. Like you guys need to watch in the chat. Watch him versus Beterbiev. Up until the stoppage, that was a draw. He was.
I didn't see it like that. I was just going to comment on that. I think we went back. It's like Verge and Boachuk. Go back and watch Verge and Boachuk. It's actually not close, right? I feel the same way about the Beterbiev fight with Yard. I think we misremember it. I just watched it. Beterbiev, other than when he got hurt, he was winning every round, I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
But he was hurt in almost every other round. He was getting
hurt
rocked
twice.
badly.
Yeah, he was for sure. Yeah.
And you could tell Yard has heavy hands, and Benavidez tends to start a little slow, and then he comes on like the snowball effect. Uh, but you
But
gotta
how
like
does Yard fight him? Does Yard try to box with him? Because he can win that, I guess. Maybe I don't like he carries his hand low. He's going to eat a lot of those long jabs from Benavidez. But how does Yard fight him? Does Yard try to box him at first, or does he just maul him?
He's gonna maul him. He has to.
And
He's
he's
the
gonna
bigger
lose.
guy. He's the
He's
bigger
gonna
guy.
lose.
Well,
Yeah.
how he's got to try to hurt him. He's the bigger guy. He probably hits harder. Punch for punch, I would say Yard hits harder. So he's gonna have to implement that.
If his plan is to fight Benavidez on the inside, we win as fans. He loses the fight, right? I mean, he's not gonna.
Yeah, but that's how he fights. I mean, he fought Lyndon Arthur like that, and he won that fight. That fight was
Lyndon Arthur's
fought.
not a hitter, though. I agree. Lyndon Arthur's not a hitter.
I know, but I'm saying he does. That's how he fought
Yeah.
his last fight. That's how I think he's gonna fight someone like Benavidez. Benavidez probably not gonna give you a chance. Benavidez is gonna fight his fight.
Vito Melnicki's on this card as well. Any thoughts on your Jersey boy?
Think he wins. Yeah, I wish it was a different.
I'm sure. Yeah,
opponent,
who's he fighting? He's fighting his Uber driver.
Someone from Ghana or Nigeria. I think Nigeria.
It's gonna be tough. So Melnicki by points. Melnicki
Mhm.
by points. I think that's the
There
bet.
you
I
go.
don't even know who
That's
he's
it.
fighting, but the bet is Melnicki on points.
Yeah.
Then did we touch on everything?
No, Mason and Noakes.
Oh, yeah, Abdullah Mason, and Noakes.
Mason and Noakes. Yeah.
Shout out to 79. Let me read this first. Garrett, how do I swindle Frankie Wood to follow through with this bet? All right, we're getting to this right now. So 79, shout out to 79. Thank you for the $5. He wanted to bet. This is Frankie Wood is stable mates with Noakes, and
Yeah.
he wanted to bet 79 on the outcome of the fight straight up, $150 US.
Yeah.
Noakes and Mason. Obviously, he wanted to take his guy Noakes, and
Yeah.
now he's backpedaling out of that bet. What does he do to get him to pay up? Should he win?
I mean, why would he take that bet? The odds are crazy on.
I know.
I don't know why he would take that. Yeah. Noakes, you know what it is too? Noakes is a great fighter. I'll tell you right now, Noakes is a great fighter. It's just a wrong style. I think his style is, just like I'll tell you, William Zepeda. William Zepeda is a great fighter, but he had the wrong style against Shakur. If you put these guys in, I said it in the chat. If Sam Noakes had the opportunity to fight for a title against George Kambosos like Loma did, he'd be a champion. If he had the opportunity to fight against Denis Berinchyk like Navarrete did, he'd be a champion. He'd beat both of those guys. But I just think someone like Abdullah Mason, who's trending so fast, his not only his reach, but his speed difference, his footwork, his punch selection, his variety, and in the style of Sam Noakes just coming in really doesn't set much up, limited head movement. I can just see Mason picking him apart. So I like Mason here.
Yeah. Mason by stoppage is the bet here, which is I got it even money, plus 100. To me, that's a steal. Mason at minus 250 or minus 350 now. It's moved.
Only thing I can push back on is Sam Noakes is big. He looks like a 140-pounder. He's never been stopped. He's never been hurt. He's going to be live in this, so I can see him, maybe eking it out to, and we never see Mason pass 6 rounds. So if Noakes does survive the early onslaught and now it becomes somewhat of a sloppy fight, Sam Noakes is still there, push him forward. Does it become closer? Does Mason then, take it over I don't know, but if Mason does stop him, oh man, superstar.
I've been saying this on my show a lot. I get your thoughts on it. The 2 best prospects I've seen come up in the last, 10, 12, 15 years are Bam Rodriguez and Abdullah Mason. I can't think of better prospects I've seen coming up. And I've watched Bam is a Texas kid. I've known Bam since he's in diapers, right? I'm close with the Franco family. I've never seen a prospect as good as him until maybe Abdullah Mason. That's how highly I regard.
Agree.
Yeah.
Gee, I gotta run.
All right.
I'll just say,
can you just answer this real quick?
John,
yeah,
man, I like Armando Casamanca, the Italian kid. I thought he beat Lucas Body, and John Ferg did not look good in his last fight against Nunes. But I do lean John Ferg to win that. Romain Villa and Bebu. You got Francisco Veron. Francisco's a very good fighter. I like Verona a lot in that he beat Vlad 24K in his last fight in pro box. You know, Romain Villas, he's coming up from 147 to 154, so I'm gonna slightly edge Francisco Verona. Villas can be a nightmare though, man. He was a nightmare against Janellis and Boca Chica. He could have stopped Boca Chica. He beat the shit out of him from pillar to post. You know, he's a good fighter, but I think Verone's footwork is gonna make the difference in that fight.
So you like Verone and Casamonic? Casamonic is plus
no, Casamonic is an underdog. I think that's gonna be close. Yeah, I think that's a good fight to play the draw in. I gotta go, but yeah, I think that's gonna be close. John Ferrer, Casamonic. Yeah, I'll talk to you guys.
Thanks Appreciate you, TJ. I'm gonna stay on. Appreciate you, TJ. Thank you for your time. All right. Shout out to TJ for coming through. I like Casamonic too. I'm actually working on the tape for that right now. I'm gonna get that out to you guys shortly. I've already completed the tape on Casamonica. Maybe he's not as good as I think, but I still think Casamonica is probably the bet. I've started the tape on Fernandez. I just got into that now. But I like Casamonica in that fight. And Verone, I haven't gotten to the tape yet. That's going to come next. And then Eubank, that's how I'm going to close out the week. Those are the fights, the tapes that I'm doing. All right, guys, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, super chats, I'm going to stay on with y'all. I'm going to get through these. I'm going to start here and work my way down. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Smash the like button. Subscribe, share if you have not already. Consider becoming a member. There are a ton of perks, which I'll get into. Ton of perks there. So consider becoming a member. You get the long-term locks. You get a ton of perks. I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'll say that another time. Noak's going to get shredded. Mason wants that title a little bit. I think so, too. I think Noakes is going to get beat up bad. And I think Noakes is a good fighter. He's just going to be in front of him and he's going to get hit. And it's from a talent perspective. And I like Noakes. It's a mismatch. The way Mason disposed Nakatalia's power was impressive. Should negate Noakes. Noakes is built for tough. Yeah, it's going to be a beatdown. I agree. And he's going to stand there and he may have some moments. Dula will beat Noakes like Boots did Stayonis. Yeah, I think that Bugs. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair assessment. We don't really know if Abdullah has a back foot, to be honest. He does. We had a little bit of tape on him. I studied a bunch. I watched about 4 or 5 fights on him because most of the fights are pretty quick. He can move off the back foot a little bit. We've seen he hasn't had to do it. And I don't think he's going to do it here because Noakes is going to be in front of him and he's just going to light him up. The speed and the variety of punches is going to be such. Noakes is good. He's kind of a basic come forward fighter. It's like comparing Kyrie Irving's handle to give me a run of the mill point guard, right? Like Josh Giddey. It's like who's got a better handle? It's like okay, like come on. Drink more water, brother. They gave Malinicki a literal shoebox of a ring last time trying to help him get a KO. He did. I was there. I was at that fight. That was wild. That ring was ridiculous. Via's chin is good. It's gone. Verone KO. Verone KO is on the table. I'm taking Verone money line. Boots took it. My parlay. All right. I got you, Usain. My parlay going to be Mason, him, and Bam on my last 2 legs. $100 parlay. Current cash out is $1,500. If Mason and Bam win, it'll cash out $2,300. There you go. Mixed with his head movement. Tendy all day. Tendy all day. Is Mason chinny? No. Look, I don't like. I mean, it's Mason chinny. I don't think this is fair. He got dropped twice. He got back up and finished the guy in the second round. I don't think it's necessarily fair to say that he's chinny, right? He got dropped twice. He was never seriously hurt, and he got back up and then finished the other guy off. I don't think that's a fair assessment. And he's going to get that criticism for being dropped twice. I don't think too much of it. Vito was so reserved last fight, carried an inferior opponent to a decision. Yeah, I'm not going to dump on Vito, but he's the product of nepotism for sure. Man, I don't know if Abdullah standing in front of Noakes lighting him up is safe. My boy Chin can be so naked. He's gonna. I mean, Okay, I could be wrong. He could move. He could pivot and move laterally, not be off the back foot, just kind of like Bam does it, pivot and turn out and turn him and not stand in front of him. I just think this fight's going to happen in the center of the ring. Both guys love to fight. Both guys love to fight. And like that's just how it's going to go down. And one guy, Abdul's the bigger hitter too, by the way. Oh, by the way. And I like Noakes. I've been high on Noakes. He's fighting a generational talent. This is not going to go well for Noakes. Mason got knocked down off balance. He wasn't hurt. Then he finished the fight, broke Vasquez's back or something. That's what I'm saying. Mason might try to take an easy decision win. I don't think so. Teofimo was KOing a lot of his opponents till he stepped up. Well, he KO'd Comey. He got some KOs. He was most definitely hurt. He just in great shape and took it well. Go back. I'll put it up here, but I don't want to. I don't want to get demonetized. Because what I'm saying, consider becoming a member. Consider becoming a member. I got a lot of perks for the members. There's merchandise involved. I can ship you guys out merch. There's also you get the long-term lock. You get to be part of the live stream. I'll give you a link. You can jump on the live stream with me. There's a lot of perks. I'm going to go over that. That is member-only videos. If you guys have any questions about any fights, any cards, I will do a specific video for you guys. If there's anything I haven't done, if there's anything I haven't covered, I will do that for you as well. Gary, are you going to do a breakdown? Yeah, I plan on it. I plan on it. Yeah, and I like Harlem. I just don't love the price on it, but I like Harlem. I'm going to do a breakdown on it. I'm not betting it. I think honestly there are too many other good fights for me to bet on this. I'm actually not betting on the Haney. I was going to take Haney by decision. I still might. I may change my mind at fight time. Right now, I haven't put any money on it, and right now my plan is not to. I just think there are too many other fights that are safe, that are good money bets for me to get lost up on this. Mason KO just seems too easy. I feel like he gets Noakes late or wins decision. I think it's an obvious bet. If you get it late, the bet's still good, user. I'm saying take Mason. Mason by stoppage to me. I got it at even money exactly plus 100. I also win 100. There's no way I turned away from that. And then I got the parlay. I can't unsee that decision either. What decision are we talking about, Jeff? Oh, and we're talking about the Mason hypothetical Mason fight, hypothetical decision in Mason fight. Norman bettors are emotional. I agree with the only GK. I keep calling you the real GK, the only GK. Shout out. Norman bettors are emotional. Man, Mason is so good. Can't miss blue chip prospects. Everything you want in a fighter will be seeing a lot of him in the future. Kid is real, a real statement of taking Noakes so early. He's a ringer. No way in hell. I can't see. I'm with DJ on this. I cannot see. I mean, the beating that Noakes would take if they went 12 rounds, man. I just can't see it. Where does Mason get it? It might be early. 6. My gut is telling me 6 because Noakes is tough and Noakes is good. I think Noakes is good. I think Noakes is very good. Abdullah Mason is something different. All right, guys. Any questions, comments, thoughts, super chats? Let me know now. I'm going to go live twice tomorrow. I may go live late tonight as well because there's a lot I want to get into, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. Bam 1-6, Mason 1-6. I'm more convinced of Mason 1-6. The Bam fight, like we said, might go longer. I would take Bam 7-12. I don't know. I do like Mason 1-6. I like Mason 1-6. What are the odds? Yeah, I'm not getting odds on that just yet, but I'll keep my eye on that. What are you getting on Bam? I don't have the 1 to 6 or 7 to 12. I don't have that. What are you guys getting on Bam and Bam 1 through 6 and 7 to 12? Puma 7 to 12 or 1 to 6. Puma? No, Puma gets stopped. I would say 7 to 12. I like 7 to 12 and Bam 1 to 6 and Abdullah Mason. Yeah, that's why I like 7 to 12. He's Puma durable. You think 1 to 6? Maybe. I'm just taking Bam by stoppage. Like, that's it. It's going to be to the body. I swear, if he don't make it to 7, I'm gonna tell him to retire in his comment. All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. Questions, comments, thoughts, super chats. Questions, comments. I'm getting some calls from my parents. That's why I don't know. They called me like 3 times. It's got to be urgent. So I got to check in with that. Guys, questions, comments, thoughts, super chats. Let me know now. I may go live for a second stream today. It is November 19th, 2025, from Texas to the world. Thank y'all and God bless. All right, we got news at the end. One of these stoppages aren't happening, in my opinion, out of Mason, Benavidez, and Rodriguez. Benavidez. I would say Benavidez is the most likely to go the distance. The other two I cannot see going. I would say in order of who's most likely to get the stoppage. I would say Mason 1, Bam 2, Benavidez 3. And Benavidez could go the distance. It could. All right. The other two, I really can't see it happening. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap now. Appreciate y'all from Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God bless.
Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3D Boxing is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside